Hey everyone, welcome to another Haze Reverb update video. There's not too much to talk about this week, but I will give you some tips regarding the double experience, the double resource event that is also running. But I want to quickly go over just some of the other stuff first, and then we'll talk about double resource later on. First off, we've got Lina. Now, Lina, in a nutshell, is the best PvP support unit at the moment. She generally combines very well with Miso, so you can use them both to overlap their heals onto your DPS, and that makes them very tanky and helps them survive Hlock shield. Even though Hlock is still going to be quite a problem, it still helps, right? And it's the sort of the best setup at the moment to help deal with Hlock's reflect damage, and therefore that's why she's pretty much used all the time in top PvP at the moment. There was a brief moment where she wasn't used, mostly because Type T was better at the time, but now Type T has a very hard counter in red, which a lot of the top players will now start putting into their teams, and therefore that makes Type T quite redundant, unfortunately. I myself took quite a bit of damage from that by fully investing my skill ups into her, and then now she's sort of kind of whatever. I might be able to use a little bit of her in Cosmic Showdowns, where you have two teams, and therefore red can only cover one team, right? But even still, it's quite a risk to run it, and therefore it's mostly if I have no other option that I would use Type T alongside Lina on separate teams. Technically, that's what I did last Cosmic Showdown, but I'm not sure if that's going to be still good in the next one that is probably coming up in maybe a month's time, or maybe a month and a half. I believe we're probably going to get Abyss first, but yeah, we don't have any information on that yet. But yeah, just quickly, she's basically a healer type. She buffs heal over time, armor, resistance, and attack. All of these are very good. She will typically be buffing your DPS for that reason. You technically can buff like pure tanks, but you generally avoid doing it because unless there's no one else to put in the tiles for your buffing, right? If you're not running 3 DPS, then you probably just put like one of the tanks into one of the tiles. Usually, in that case, if I'm running a 2 DPS setup, then I'll probably use like Hlock or something to protect her and give her a bit more survivability. But yeah, that's just very team dependent. You just adjust based off what you're running. But yeah, she is the best. As I said, she's the best PvP unit at the moment for supports. PvE wise, she's pretty good, but I wouldn't say she's top tier, right? In Crusade Raid, if you're trying to score really high, you don't really use her at all because she doesn't provide crit damage, right? And attack is very easily capped by units that already buff your crit damage anyway, and therefore the only real reason to use her would be if you happen to need some sort of damage reduction on your team for your DPS. But we haven't had a boss like that for a while, so Lina doesn't have that much use in PvE, but she is still usable, right? Now take note, she also wants to be ranked 9 for PvP, but she's still usable at lower ranks, but just not as good, of course, right? So the aim when you get her is to get her to rank 9 for PvP, and that is Lina in a nutshell. Now, obviously we got the double resource event. It has already started. Unfortunately, I did miss out on recording yesterday, but hopefully people were fine with that, and you've been farming what you need. The other event we got is the lucky number 7. This one is pretty simple. So the registration of it has like a login claim thing. You claim these coins to use in the slot machine, and last day you get 150 crystals. But the coins are used in the slot machine here. So you just press this, and you'll either get like 777, which will give you an invitation, right? I'll talk about it in a sec. Or you'll just get like some resources, right? I don't remember exactly what resources you get, but you'll get something. Now with the invitation, you'll use it here in the nighttime invitation. You select one of these units, and you will get enough to see all, like, to view all three stories, and you just basically go through some dialogue, and I guess it's a bit of lore stuff. So if you like that kind of thing, that kind of content, then this event is for you. But even if you're not, then you still do it, and I guess just skip through it, and you'll get some resources at the end. I think it's crystals from memory, but can't remember exactly. But yeah, you will get all three, and don't worry if, like, let's say you go through the first 3 days and you haven't hit the jackpot at all. It's coded so that you get all three, like, guaranteed at some point. So I guess once you've failed 3 times, you're just guaranteed to get them on the subsequent pools, right? As long as you do it every day, you shouldn't have any issues getting all the invitations. All right. Lastly, I want to try to talk quickly about double resource and what you should be doing for it. Um, this is mostly for benefit of newer players who may not necessarily know, like, what to farm, right? I have been seeing some people ask around, what should I be focusing my stamina on, right? All right, so there's a whole bunch of different areas you can farm. But one thing to note that the armor enhancement is not affected by double resource, and therefore typically we'll recommend to try to get this done early in the week. Like, once the week has reset and these attempts reset, just do them straight away so you can get it out of the way. And if a double resource drops, in the middle of the week, then you don't have to worry about farming this, right? Or, like, using your attempts, because obviously you don't want to use the stamina during the middle of the week where you're getting the double resource in the other areas. That's just inefficient, right? So just get this done at the beginning of the week, and you won't have that issue. Now, it's really up to you on what you need, but if you happen to need, like, awakening materials, just farm that, right? But you don't need to over farm this. Just farm however much you need, and then the rest of your stamina, like, well, pretty much, like, if you're in doubt, just farm cores, right? So the cores that you want to farm would be health, attack, and defense. More so health and attack, because they're more generically used, like, across, like, 90% of units. Then there's, like, a small number of pure armor tanks that will run double armor, but not as big of a priority as the other two, right? But if you already have, like, a decent number of health and attack sets already, then try to get maybe between 2 to 4 armor sets, right? So that means, like, between 4 to 8 in total. And then these ones you just don't need to farm at all. You'll probably just naturally get them through your perfect core fragments, like, that you get from events, because those are just pure, like, random legendary quality cores, right? Now, if you pull a pure crit chance, crit damage, or mobility core from those, then just hang on to them in case you need it. Currently, the only ones of these that you will use would be crit damage core for Transcendent Ophelia. And if you don't have an invested Transcendent Ophelia, then there's no point really in building it anyway. But if you do have a rank 6 or above Transcendent Ophelia, then you need a set of 2 crit damage cores, right? Mobility core has probably, like, a small use for things like Suzuki, but unless you actually have it built, like, you don't really need it at the moment. There's no, like, meta unit I can think of that really runs mobility core at all, or crit chance. Now, if you happen to need, like, the composite cores, then just farm them within these ones. So, for example, if you need specifically a HP mobility hybrid, just farm it in your HP stage, right? Because you can get both the pure HP cores and also the composite at the same time. Then you're not wasting your stamina on stuff that you won't necessarily use, right? Especially if you're really looking for a lot of cores at the moment. For me personally, it wouldn't matter for me if I farm something else, because the only thing I really lack at the moment is the experience, right? The upgrade materials, like, to level up my cores. I have a lot of cores that are just sitting there and just not enough experience to level them up. But if you need specific cores, then don't waste your stamina in the other areas, right? Then if you happen to need experience, then you can farm it here. Star shards are like probably the lowest priority of everything here. You shouldn't need that many of them. You should get enough just from side story shops and also from I think some of the shops, some of the weekly shops. I think for actually I can't remember exactly. It might be Arena. It might be the Dispatch one. Just go check which ones give it. But typically, I've not farmed this stage since like basically the beginning of the game, and I've never had an issue leveling my units. Right, you don't level them enough that you need that many of these star shards. Now, the one other nuance I would say is the shield credit stage, and this one's very important. A lot of people will be tempted to farm shield credits because it's like a very scarce resource in this game, right? And the main way to get it is through the stage. But the reason that I suggest not to farm this is because you're not actually getting 200% drop rate from this. Whereas every other stage, it is exactly 200% drop rate, right? For example, cores. Normally for the highest quality core, you get 10 fragments, but during double drops, it's 20, so exactly double, right? Now, on shield credits, the base amount of shield credits that you get here is 7,250. And if you double that, that's supposed to be 14,500. And obviously, you're missing out on 1,000 credits per run. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it does add up, right, with a lot of runs. Therefore, to maximize your stamina usage, you should just use all the stamina during double resource on anything else but shields, right? So your cores or whatever, right? Then when you need, well, if you need shields, farm that outside of double resource when it's just normal drop rates for everything. That way you're not just losing out on value for no reason. Additionally, with stamina usage, obviously most people will be saving up their stam pots for this event, and if you're new to the game, that's also what you should be doing. So these pure stamina pots, because there's no limit to how many you can use, whereas there is a limit to how many times you can recharge crystals, and also the price of the crystal recharges go up as you do more recharges, right? So these stam pots are very valuable and should only be used in double resource. So now's the time to use those. For crystal consumption, my recommendation is it is very worthwhile to do the first 3 refills, right? You don't have to do it outside of 2 times, but during 2 times, I think it's highly recommended to do the first 3 recharges, which cost 30 stamina each for 100 stamina a pop, right? Now, once you get past 3 recharges, it now increases the cost to 70 per recharge, and then after the 3 after that, it will go up to, I believe, 140, and it will just keep going up, and it's just not worth it beyond, like, at the very maximum, 70 is not terrible to recharge, but anything higher than that is just a waste of crystals. Never like go that high. But the first 3 are it's pretty reasonable. So even as a free-to-play player, it's only like 90 crystals per day over like 1 week, right? Which you'll easily up to like get back through like the weekly PvP rewards and also just from like side events and stuff like that. So yeah, that is my tips for double resource and how to like best go about farming during this, right? So that is it for this week. Now, we don't have a roadmap yet, or at least not at the time of recording. Hopefully, they will release that soon because the last roadmaps, the stuff that we saw in the preview for during the last roadmap has all been completed now. After the the Joint Crusade was like the last one that was on the list. So hopefully we'll get some news on that soon. And once it does come out, I'll try to get a video as soon as possible. But yeah, that is it for this video. Hopefully some of those tips helps you, especially for the newer players. And yeah, good luck with your double resource, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.